Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Charlotte Motor Speedway as we are getting ready for the Season 14 Budweiser All Pro Series All Star Race. I am Michael Norman up in the booth with Seth Cole. And Seth, no points, just like the All Star Open, but there's $1 million on the line of actually fake money here tonight.
Yeah, fake money, but it's still money, right? Real money, fake
Maybe?
money is still money. Monopoly money, I think drivers would be willing to race double wide, three wide, maybe four wide. I don't think they can handle four wide here at this particular racetrack. But, if you told me there was a $500 bill of Monopoly money on the line, um, I might do something drastic for it.
So does this mean that if you win the next time we play Monopoly, you have to start with $1 million?
It means that the next time we play Monopoly, I'll have $500 up on the rest of the competition.
That's very true. So, starting things off tonight, we have 100 laps set for the All Star race, broken down into three different stages. We've got 45, 35, and the final stage being 20 laps, with stage breaks in between, hopefully having enough laps added. So, as you can see, it's an all female front row thanks to our random qualifying for the All Star race. Jessica Shelton on the pole alongside defending champ Laura Chung.
Yeah, and we talked about during the All Star Open the fact that there's kind of been a resurgence for Joe Gibbs Racing this year as opposed to last year. We even saw Summit Oscon get a decent finish in the All Star Open, even though he wasn't able to complete the sweep for the Gibbs Toyotas. But yeah, I think that the All-Star race, a lot of people they look at it as the non-points showcase in the middle of the season, but I also look at it as an opportunity to carry momentum into that home stretch towards the playoffs. Here tonight, who knows? Whoever ends up going to victory lane in this All-Star race could end up being one of the favorites to look at further on down the road near the end of the season when the championship is on the line. So I honestly feel this is a momentum shift for drivers that are doing well to continue doing well, or drivers that may be struggling to get themselves back on track.
That's very true. And with the money on the line, this should make for one exciting night. We're going to go trackside now, get the opening ceremonies underway, and come back to get this race underway.
For the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshal, multi-platinum selling artist and entertainer, Machine Gun Kelly.
Drivers, start your engines!
Engines are fired here at Charlotte, getting ready for the All Star race. We've got 24 cars out on the lead lap to race 100 laps around this racetrack with stage breaks in between the three segments 45, 35, and the final segment of 20. And Seth, we know they can't make it through the whole race or through the whole segment for 1 and 2, but it's a little iffy for 3 to see if maybe they could push it.
Yeah, honestly, I think they're probably going to need a caution because based off of what we saw with the All Star Open, we saw drivers like pitting round, what was it? I think it was 17, 18 laps into a run. So I don't think anybody's going to be able to stretch it unless they save a little bit, maybe under the caution period. We know it's going to happen between segments 2 or 3, but we'll wait and see. I think pit road's going to play a huge factor into this, not only at the end of the race, but throughout these other two segments, because you could come to pit road early, give up some track position, but flip the stages and get the track position back at the start of stage 2.
That's very true. And with no editing or breaks in between stage or segments here, this is gonna be just wherever you start at each segment is where you're gonna start. So there's no inversion, no fancy smancy things like that. Just a full 100-lap shootout for $1 million. Here we go. Pace cars in, getting ready into the restart zone. Green flag is out. We're underway. Ooh, a little bit more of an even restart this time than the race that will not be talked about.
I like the race that shall not be named.
Yep, and all 24 drivers made it to the green flag this time.
We have Vita Khedivi'd the field.
We did. Shelton gets the advantage, though. Comes right up in front of the 11 Allura Chung.
Start to see more and more drivers migrate up to that second lane. I think in the early going, you don't want to be up there. We kind of saw, case in point, in the All-Star Open, Charles Sanford started on the outside of the front row, and we were, 6-7 laps in, he had already fallen outside of the top 10. Notice there, Cody Lamas, he was able to get from the top down to the bottom there, clear himself across the nose of Dylan Young. Very smart, otherwise he might have taken a little free fall through the field. And one driver I think we got to keep an eye on here in this race, Michael, is the teammate to that 48, the Knight of Bern Oliveira, of course, our All-Star Open winner. You touched on it when we started here, the broadcast this evening, and the fact that none of these drivers have taken any laps here in this All-Star race. They all had their positions done via random draw.
Carson gum in the wall.
Yeah, and that's not going to be good for him, as he's going to lose a lot of ground there, a lot of momentum. But Oliveira ended up, I think, starting 6th, if I recall correctly, in the All-Star Open, went on to win it. Keep an eye on that 9 because he's got a notebook. The rest of them don't.
That's true. But then again, we'll see if he was a teammate. Could have went over to Cody Lamas and or Seth Cole and shared some notes in between the Open and the actual race here. So we're gonna slide back up through the field here. Dylan Young's taking over second place, but here comes Cody Lamas and Daniel Voiles in that 62.
Great point you just made there, too. A lot of these drivers have teammates that took place in the All-Star Open. Certainly would have been able to get a wealth of knowledge of what to expect. Another car in the wall back there. I think that was the 31.
That was Roberto Crown Jr. as we have Carson Gum coming to pit road. Maybe had a tire go down.
Either a tire go down or may have spent a little too much time in that outside wall. Might have gotten some damage. If you ride the wall through the center of the corner, more often than not, it's not going to push in that side panel. But he was also in the wall coming off of turn number 2 where the safer barrier straightens out. So that might have actually pushed something in around the right front tire, and they might need to clear that sheet metal.
True, too. Not how you really want your all-star race to go. Yep, came in, probably changed a quick tire or two, bend the fender back out, and they're back going again. Here comes William Brock. Made it into this all-star race last year with his 3 wins. But that 20 is a rocket ship.
We kind of were expecting to see a lot of what happened with him in the second half of the season happen here in the first half of the season. We haven't necessarily seen it yet. But maybe a little case of deja vu. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe William Brock, he ended up not making the playoffs last year.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, and he had 3 wins, I think it was.
He had 2 wins going into the All-Star or going into the playoffs, but he just wasn't high enough. Yeah. And then he got a win at Atlanta. That was during the playoffs.
Right.
But here he comes now. He's catching that 20 car. Let's see what a lap time he ran. Let's see. He went at 29.703 to Jessica's 29.89.
Yeah, I think some of that could have possibly been draft, but you see how he closed it up there in the entrance to turn number 1. So that car is really good on entry. A little slow there on exit, but then again, he was in dirty air. He's putting the pressure in as these two battle. Christina Bell now enters into the vicinity.
Oh, and Laura Chuff 4 wide.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, boy.
They're going to make it through.
Yes, they did.
McCrory just barely cleared across the nose of the 11. That was close.
I think that was some contact going into the corner that sent the 11 sideways. She had to chase up the racetrack. We talked about the 77 of Christina Bell, who got a win last season. She was already trying to fight. Now here comes the 47 to the inside of Jessica.
And if I recall correctly, I think her win was at New Hampshire last year.
Dude, Jessica?
No, Christina Bell.
I think it was.
I think it was New Hampshire. I'm pretty sure.
Still battle for the lead. The 77 gonna try the outside, but look at the run she's got. Maybe thinking about trying to go up the middle here.
And look what happens when they get side by side. All of a sudden, now not only Christina Bell, but Daniel Voiles, Dylan Young, Jonathan Zorley starting to enter in. It was a side-by-side battle between the 47 and the 20 by themselves. They had like 5 car lengths, I think, back to the third place car. All of a sudden, you've got now 8, 9 drivers that you could throw a blanket over. McCrory's caught up to this. That's the 22 of Levi McIntyre back there, and trying to make, is that Henry Sanford? Yeah, that's the BJ McLeod Motorsports car, the Live Fast Motorsports car.
19 car, 1 lap down, unfortunately for Carson. He's gonna have to try to earn that back the hard way, as there are no lucky dogs or wave arounds here in the Budweiser All Pro Series. Car's beginning to get a little single file now. Maybe tires are starting to get a little worn, and you know, maybe it's time to kind of settle in, think about strategy.
I think you also saw with a couple of cars getting up into the outside wall there. Yeah, drivers are thinking, you know, let's back it down because we can't win the race on lap number 1, but we can certainly lose it. And they know that there's going to be a guaranteed caution coming up here at the conclusion of the 45th lap. So yeah, don't tear up your equipment. You still got a lot of race left to go.
Christina Bell will settle into the race lead. We talked about Spire Motorsports. You know, last season, both of them, Christina was the only one to get a win. Actually, you know what? I'm trying to think. I think her win actually came at Gateway. I don't remember. It was one of those races that she got a win on. It was either Gateway or New Hampshire, one of the two.
The only reason I say New Hampshire is because I'm pretty sure I was in the booth when she got that victory, and I know I was in the booth for New Hampshire. I was not in the booth for Gateway.
So, with that being said, you know, her and then Madeline Crenshaw, both of them making the playoffs last season. This season, though, Spire Motorsports, they've been around, but not really talked about too much.
Oh, remember, too, in the case of Madeline Crenshaw, he ended up making the playoffs via points, had very good consistency, did
and
not
the Final
get a
Four.
victory, so that's why we don't see her in this All-Star race. She came up just short. Finished second in the All-Star Open, if I recall correctly. So, I mean... Oh, got a car on the wall back there. Henry Sanford just hooked Anthony McCrory.
78
Henry
hard.
got the wall himself also. No caution.
Hard into the wall, but that's going to stack up all of these race cars. But that was real hard in the wall there.
That was good contact from McCrory as well with the right front. I don't know exactly how the two of them got together.
Let's look here.
Dorland maybe hooked the 78 in the left rear. No, Anthony just kind of runs Henry out of room. Didn't realize he wasn't clear.
I don't think Henry appreciates that very much.
Bit of a pinball there.
Bam.
Down to Dorland, and
That
man,
was a
that's
hard
leg.
impact. Yeah, that's going to definitely draw him to pit road at some point, because if that's not a broken toe link, it's got to be something on that machine.
Yeah, and the problem with having to make the potentially unscheduled pit stop is they'll be spending extra time on pit road getting that damage repaired. It's not just a case of bring him down, change the tires, send him out. So he will more than likely, if he does come to pit road, he'll lose at least 1 lap, maybe 2.
Well, this is going to be very interesting to see how long these cars can go on pit road with no caution at this race. They've gone 17 laps already, so we'll see if they'll indeed have enough fuel to make it that 20-lap stretch.
Gosh, we nearly just had some more contact back there. Anthony McCurry's been in the thick of everything these last couple of laps. He nearly made some contact with Jonathan Zorlin. I don't know if it's a case of, as we get longer into this run, the handling's starting to go away. These cars are dancing and moving around a lot more on corner exit, or if they're trying to kind of do the side draft here and get as close as they can to each other's quarter panels. But, We've been kind of dancing with wolves of maybe having our first caution of the night a couple of times here.
Well, what is it that Neil Bonnet used to say? We ain't out there to make friends.
Well, that's true. Especially when there's no points on the line and a nice paycheck.
Whoa.
Oh, Zorlin nearly got hooked off the nose of Cole Deaver. What a save!
Absolutely. This is turning into a more dramatic all-star race than I thought it was going to be. Oh, there's a 78 on pit road.
Yep. We knew it was inevitable. They were going to have to bring that car to pit road. He was already losing time, losing positions with that aero damage.
Fastest car on the racetrack, that 77.
And I'll bet you that lap that she ended up running there, that was top of the board, I'm pretty sure that was back when she was reeling in. Oh, here comes William Brock pit road, but I'll bet that was when she was reeling in the top 3 and eventually got the lead as we got pretty good size of
caution.
cars coming down.
Caution.
There's smoke over there in turn 4, I see.
There was. I don't know where Carson's going.
Well, passing the grass, except it's not a pass.
Caution flag is out. These drivers race back to the caution flag. This is going to be interesting with the cars on.
Smoke over there in 4. Someone might have gotten spun.
Are these cars going to be penalized? That's going to be the problem. These cars could be trapped a lap down.
Now, the thing they got to do is, first off, get out ahead of the pace car, because if the pace car bypasses them and they haven't crossed the pit road exit line, they're going to be on the tail end of the lead lap.
And it looks like they're going to. Except for the 31.
Yeah, that's right side damage I see there on Roberto Crown Jr., so he might have been the one that brought out the caution.
All right, so we're going to have to take a look and see as these cars make their pit stops here. Is Christina Bell able to make it 20 laps on fuel? She didn't come down pit road with these cars, so that's going to be interesting. An interesting note for the final segment there.
Well, there's also no guarantee that she might not have come down pit road here if we had stayed under green on the next lap, so might have ended up, if we were kind of going forward to the last stage, might have come down pit road to receive the checkered while on the pit lane. And
all right, here's what
Rodriguez
brought out the caution. Rodriguez running his own line. The 31 car just slipped into the corner right up in front of him.
Boy, that's a big hit there for both of those cars as well.
And I don't think Matt appreciated that very much.
Kind of shades of what we saw happen earlier, though, with Carson Gum and the 31 of Roberto Crown Jr., both of them getting pushed up into the wall there. I don't know if there's just maybe some cushion that you cannot step over, where there's a complete lack of grip for that right front.
I'm looking to see if there was an issue with the 19 at some point before all this. I don't think there was.
No, the 19 got in the wall, had right side damage that he had to pit for, kind of like Henry Sanford did.
Well, I thought maybe there was something that caused him to like race through pit road and things like that.
Oh, that thing. I think probably what happened there was he went to the inside to avoid the slow 31, and if you're a keyboarder on racing online like me, sometimes the LPs ingrained in the track, they take you in some interesting areas.
All right, so we're not going to have any cars stuck on the tail end of the lead lap, I don't believe.
Caution was a big break for these drivers that pit, because I think this is going to put Old Beaver to the front.
The only car that's up here at the front that's going to have to go to the back when they get the one to go signal will be that 78. Strategy.
Oh yeah, Christina Bell. Wait.
Yeah, Christina Bell is the race leader.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Penalties
yeah.
probably for these cars back here who did
right.
come down pit road. Yeah.
Yep.
For pitting under a closed pit road. The only cars a lap down are the 31, 19, and the 78, who is 2 laps down.
I guess, again, if you're going to have problems, better here in this All-Star race where there's no points, no playoff position on the line.
Yep, and as we said here, 19 and the 78 go one to the back. Everyone's going to go around them. No faults. Pace car lights are off. So let's run through our top 10 right now. Christina Bell leading. Cole Deaver up to second now. Levi McIntyre third. Ali Rain fourth. Anthony McCurry in fifth. Benjamin Miles sixth. Nathan Ormond seventh. Seth Cole in eighth. Bern Oliveira in ninth. And Dylan Poteet rounds out the top 10.
Oliveira up there inside of the top 10. We have to remember, though, too, was part of that group that came down pit road under caution, so was able to leapfrog about the 7 or 8 cars that were on pit road when the yellow flag flew. Pretty sure Oliveira was running back around the 15th, 16th position when the caution came out, but is slowly, steadily, and with a little bit of luck, made his way up here now into the top 10. I'm gonna run a question by you because I don't remember off the top of my head. Has a driver ever won the All-Star Open and the All-Star race here in
I
the same
don't
weekend?
believe so.
Yeah,
I don't
may
believe
see some
so at all.
history tonight. We'll see.
Yeah, we definitely will. We'll see which line is asleep and which line gets the better restart. Coming to the restart zone, the Toyota restart zone. Green flag is back out. We're back underway. Oh, Coldever got a good jump there. We'll see if he can clear the 77 going into turn 1, and I think he will. They'll put that number 3 car to the front.
Tina Bell, we saw have that early charge back during the first run to get the race lead. We'll see if she's going to be able to put the pressure back on Coldever and get back out to the front again. After she got the race lead, she checked out. Now she's back in traffic again. Don't know if they
Well, I mean, not really. She's just in second.
Well, okay, true, but dirty air is dirty air, whether it's 1 car or 10 cars. So,
True,
so
but
she's
she had
having
to
deal with it.
pass those cars to get to the lead though and check out. So, and look at her already. 31 car not up,
Wide back there.
31 not up to speed back there, falling behind very quickly.
3 wide, couple rows deep, makes me a little nervous with what we saw earlier of potential 4 wide and cars up into the wall. Anthony McCurry got very close to the wall there. I think that was Matt McIntyre was close to the wall through 3 and 4. Got to be careful, don't overstep that cushion. Wow, Levi way up the racetrack there in a battle for 3rd place with Nathan Ormond, one of the 2311 cars that are in this field tonight.
Well, we've got 20 laps to go as of right now, so I guess we'll see if pit stops are going to happen.
No, they have to.
Between now and the end of that stage, in the end of the first stage here, and
But here's the thing. You know that you're probably going to have to pit with maybe 4 or 5 laps to go. Do you just take fuel only? Do you not take any tires and then maybe pit afterwards when the guaranteed caution comes out? Do you take on the tires now and then go fuel only under the stage caution? I mean,
well, it depends because you're also planning ahead for the end of the race as well.
yeah, you are, but the only problem with that is, unlike, say, a Coke 600, in this type of a race, you know that there are guaranteed cautions that are coming out, but you don't know when potential other cautions are coming out. So, while you may have a strategy from back of the race to front of the race and immediately when the green flag drops, it doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to have to call some audibles if there's some untimely yellows.
So it's going to be very interesting to say the least. And Christina Bell just all over the back bumper of that 3.
Good representation of manufacturers up here inside the top 5. A couple of Chevy bow ties at the front, then the Camry of Nathan Ormond, and then you've got the blue ovals there in 4th and 5th, Allie Rain and Nick Gunther.
True. Change for second place, Nathan Ormond. The McDonald's Toyota for 23XI Racing, and Coldever, who won back-to-back races earlier this season. This is very interesting, a very interesting standpoint as well. Going down now, Christina Bell starting to fall back a little bit. Seth, I think you're right. Maybe being in traffic has kind of hindered her race car a little bit. Either that or she's trying to save.
Or could have also been under that pit stop. Might have made an adjustment on the car and might have adjusted a little bit too far the wrong way, one way or another. Might set that back on the next upcoming pit stop.
23 gonna
for the lead.
Yep, Nathan Ormond gonna try to dive to the inside of the 3 car. And he's gonna take the lead with Allie Rain right behind him, and here she comes close to the inside.
Allie Rain, another driver that was much like William Brock's situation that we talked about earlier on.
No, it was
Ended up
Allie.
going
It was Allie that won at Gateway. Now I remember.
Okay, yeah, and ended up being another driver that had a victory, could have gotten a playoff spot, but was not high enough in the points for it to count towards a spot in the postseason.
Cody Lamas trying to use the outside lane over there. Maybe not quite to his advantage. Oh, maybe it was because he cleared the 21.
Driver right now, it looks like he's just kind of in ride mode. I'm looking at the 22 of Levi McIntyre. Makes a move there on Christina Bell, but he's just kind of been riding around in that 7th, 8th position. Remember, he came to pit road under the caution flag with Christina Bell. If you're looking at somebody to try and stretch it the furthest possible here with this impending green flag pit stop near the closing stages of stage 1, I think the 22 might be one of those ones you'd have to look in the direction of.
Absolutely. I mean, look at Christina Bell trying to hold her own on the outside. This is about where the time where we talked about the outside lane becoming a bit of a factor here. Bern Oliveira trying to take advantage of it as well, but here comes Benjamin Miles now to the inside of the 9. Look at him run the outside lane, be able to get back to the gas just a little bit quicker than the 22 and 45.
Yeah, two entirely different approaches to turn 1 and turn 3. Turn 1, if you're that car on the inside, car really wants to push up. You feel like there's really not a whole lot of banking there, not a lot of grip. More often than not, you enter low, you're running the middle line through 1 and 2. Over in 3 and 4, though, a lot of speed both on the inside and outside of the racetrack. So not a cookie cutter mile and a half at all. Gotten pretty spread out here. You got some battles here and there just inside and outside of the top 10. I think these drivers now are, like you said, I think they're kind of now in the preparation for that next pit stop, trying to figure out exactly when they want that pit stop to be.
10 laps to go to the end of the stage, and we are hearing the Budweiser All Pro Series officials saying that they will not throw the stage ending yellow until the end of the cycle of pit stops if it happens at the end of the stage.
And I think that's a good call rather than screw up a driver for trying something. Out of curiosity, can we see what like the last lap time was for that 23? Because I'd like to see. Okay, so a 30.2, or his best lap a 29.2. I'm going to assume that was draft, so I'm going to say maybe like a 29.5 is about what these drivers are able to run on fresh tires. So we're looking at 6-7 tenths of a second fall off at this point in time, and we're about 17-ish laps, 15 to 17 laps into this run. I think there's something to be said for maybe being one of the first ones on pit road. I think those fresh tires could gain you a lot of track position.
That is very true, and it very well could. See the 23 here, good leading for that. For 23XI, good representation there. Allie Rink, I see Allie is just kind of riding.
Yes.
She's definitely not trying to get up there and challenge unless the 23 were to make a mistake, but just riding comfortably in second place. We'll see if the pit stops happen within the next 5 laps or so.
Could be experimenting a little bit too, that 14 car. Just noticed Allie ran about a half groove higher than Nathan Norman through 3 and 4. Getting clean air to the nose, a little bit lower here through 1 and 2. Just trying to kind of find her strengths and the 23's weaknesses. Comes down between those two at the end of the race. Nice to have that information squirreled away. 23 pitting, maybe? Yep. I wasn't sure if he was pitting or if the 14 just ran a really high line there through 3 and 4.
Got to keep an eye on these. So the pit stop cycling happening right now.
A lot of red cars pitting right there.
Yep, Allie Rain's going to lead that lap, so we'll see what the strategy is going to be and where these cars cycle around. Remember, lap 45, they will throw the yellow flag I'm sure by the cycling around the pit stops will have happened by then.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think anybody's going to be able to make it to 45.
Allie's going to stay out another lap. Ooh, the late entry to the pit road by the 77 car. This is why we got to keep an eye out to make sure that there's no caution flags that come out, because it could very well happen.
Like we got about 6 drivers we're waiting on there. Back to Matt McIntyre to complete this cycle. Well, Matthew Rodriguez actually back there is not pitted either, but he is off the pace after the contact he had with Roberto Crown Jr. Here comes the rest of them.
looks like the 23 car, just barely in front of the 21.
Yeah, look at Nick Gunther. He was 5th when the pit stop cycle began, and now he's putting the pressure on Orman for what might eventually be the lead and the win here in this stage.
There's Cody Lamas.
Where's the 14?
Well, don't know yet.
Not there.
Well, 14 just came down pit road this time. That was from the previous round.
Yep.
So we'll see this time around. Coming to 3 laps to go and stay in segment number 1 of the All-Star race. There they go off of pit road there.
There was a McIntyre.
Look,
there
that's the
is
14
Rain.
there. But what are the cars in front? The 77 and the 31. Well, we know the 31's a lap down, so it'd be Christina Bell who got out ahead, but Nick Gunther just passed. Oh, the 77 is stuck behind the 31, who is very slow.
Yeah, the 31 is, I think, one of 2 cars in the field that are off the pace right now. That was a horrible area to have to exit out for Christina Bell, and look how quickly that brings Benjamin Miles to her.
So we've got 2 to go in segment number 1 of the All-Star race, and Nick Gunther took the lead off those pit stops.
Yeah, I mean, I think drivers are going to take notice here that if you know you're not going to be able to make it in that last segment, you're going to want to be one of the first ones to pit road. Gunther and Ormond were 2 of the first ones to dive onto pit lane, and look where look at the gap they've got back.
Yeah, but that was also
thanks
to the 31.
Well, partially. But even before that, when they were leaving pit road, Gunther and Ormond had about 6-7 car lengths back to the 77.
I think Ormond wants this stage victory. They're coming to the final lap of segment number 1.
There's no guarantee that drivers are going to come to pit road here under this segment caution. They may stay out, and what's at stake here is the opportunity to start on the inside of the front row.
Watching Henry Sanford here, waiting for him to cross the line. Line crossed. Caution comes out. So this is it. They're racing back to the end of the stage. Here comes Ormond to the inside. Ooh, had to bail out of the throttle there.
Yeah, didn't force the issue.
Gunther will win the first segment of the All-Star race.
Statement there for 2311. Second and third here in this first stage. Hendrick Motorsports right behind them with Oliveira and Lamas.
So if my math is correct, Seth, if all of these drivers come down pit road this time by... Right. Oh, something happened to Benjamin Miles. Benjamin Miles just shot down to the bottom of the racetrack. Oh, no, brake problem. There is a brake problem on the 45. Something amiss on the 45 of Benjamin Miles. We'll see if that's going to affect his pit road here. All of these cars come down. They top off now. They only got it. They come down to pit road one time in stage number 2, and they can make it the rest of that stage. And then caution comes out. They come out, and it's going to be maybe less than 20 laps at the start of the final segment. So this could be very close on fuel.
I think they probably still would have been able to do it on one stop had they not come to pit road, because most of them pitted with about 4 or 5 laps to go in this first segment. But to your point, though, it might make things interesting as far as the numbers in that third and final segment, though, is I think right there you just saw a case of what I was saying earlier. Christina Bell, remember, she was part of the third group, I think, that came to pit road and took on less fuel. So that gained her a lot of track position. She got out ahead of Nick Gunther and Nathan Ormond.
All right, with that being said, we are going to take a quick commercial break and be right back with the restart of segment number 2 of the All-Star race. Welcome back here to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. A breaking news story. We saw the 77 come out of pit road first, but she was actually given an EOL penalty. I'm not sure if it was maybe some type of maybe too fast or in pit road or something like that, but she now unfortunately is at the one lap down at the back of the field, giving Cody Lamas the race lead now.
Yeah, apparently I'm guessing something happened to Christina Bell in that last round of green flag pit stops, which kind of shows why she did the fuel-only strategy there when they all came down pit road. So that way she would be scored in the tail end of the lead lap, and the AOL would drop her back to the rear of the field, but still on the lead lap. But
It's not on the lead. She's not on the lead lap. She will be a lap down now.
Oh. Oh yeah, you're right. Wow. That's tough for her. So
Cody Lamas did not get going. He got a Jeff Gordon restart if that was the definition of one. That's going to give Gunther the lead back.
Michael, let's be correct about this. That's a Dylan Young restart.
True. That is true. I love how the 31 is just still trying to chug along. Non-points race, and all he's doing is just riding. But I guess that's kind of... No, I don't even think that would be classified as logging laps for the 600 next week when you're off the pace.
Because you're off the pace. And the one problem with that is, too, we've got 35 laps here in this segment. We ended up having a actual caution, not a stage caution, in the middle of the first stage. So we only ran about, 20 laps max during that first stage. We're going to run maybe the full 35 laps. I say maybe because I'm seeing that 3 wide back there. But there's a possibility that the leaders could catch that 31 before we end up getting to our next stage caution.
Well, we went back to... What lap did we go back to racing on? 50?
Yeah.
Okay, so 85 is going to be the end of segment number 2. Or I could shorten it. We just go to 80. And then whatever laps are left, it will be the final stage.
Yeah, I think it would have been... more than likely lap 80 would have been the end of the 35 segment. We had a couple of caution laps that ate into the beginning stages here of the second segment.
So then, lap 80 will be segment number 2 ending here. Nick Gunther with the race lead, Ormond in second. These are some of the 2 fastest cars we've seen out there, and even right here on the fastest lap board, they're the top 2.
Drivers to eclipse the 29.2 second bracket. Number 2, they ended up getting the track position that they currently hold off of that green flag pit stop, being some of the first ones on pit road. But look at some of these other guys we've got back here. Daniel Voiles now up here in the 3rd spot. Bern Oliveira, the possibility still there of an All-Star Open winner winning the All-Star race. Dylan Pote right there inside of the top 5. Good run for the 6 here this evening. I don't think we've talked about him at all tonight, which in some ways is a good thing. Means he's kept it out of trouble, kept it clean, and kind of been a sleeper here in the first beginning stages of this race.
Look at these little 2-car tandem packs. 21, 23, 62, 9, and the 6 and 24. Look at them. They're like 2-car tandem packs almost. Oh boy. Ooh, Seth. Seth almost turned the 6 car.
I think they were tandeming like you said, and sometimes if that lead car drifts up just a half groove, even a quarter of a groove, what is lined up as bumper to bumper all of a sudden becomes right front to left rear. So that was a little sketchy there. Bow for the lead. Orman got a nice tow there. That last time out of turn 4, and he's going to complete the pass maybe off of 4.
Nope, Gunther got a good run off the corner. But this is the side drafting that's going to slow him down and bring those other cars to him.
Exactly. Remember what happened at the beginning of the race when we had William Brock and Jessica Shelton battling side by side for the lead. Didn't take long for a whole host of other drivers to enter up into the vicinity. And there you see about 5 drivers hoping they get back to side by side again.
Bern Oliveira holding on to the outside lane, using the outside, using the outside here. We'll see what happens, but that's going to slow these cars down and allow the front 2 to get away.
Jonathan Zorland's had an adventurous night. Got bounced into by Henry Sanford during the first stage, but right there. Multiple-time winner from last season.
Zorline up here, yeah, he was.
Matter of fact, look at the Storehouse Racing cars. Got Zorlin up here in 7th, Allie Rain, who is up inside of the podium at one point tonight in 9th, and Zach Rogers currently holding down the 10th position.
Rogers under fire though back here from the 16 of Anthony McCurry,
who has also had an adventurous night.
Yeah, for real. Not to mention the 41 almost spinning out off of the 16. Poteet and Seth Cole. Oh, Seth's in the wall though.
Yeah, Poteet overdrove that corner. And unfortunately for Seth Cole, he was the buffer between the 6 and the outside wall. Couldn't see that time by if the 24 had right side damage, but I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Let's watch and see. See him go to the inside. I guess his car didn't stick like he thought it was going to.
Carry too much speed. Or does Seth come across? Oh, actually, I think the 24 came down across his nose.
And he didn't like that very much.
I don't think that was on the 6.
Yeah, and you know, right there, they just all kind of got back up into it, and then Seth Cole is just eventually in the wall. So
we're very lucky it was just those 2 cars as well, because you had was a Benjamin Miles, I think? No, it was Jonathan Zorlin was right behind that. Oliveira's gotten around Daniel Voiles up to 3rd, and now hooking that higher middle groove through 3 and 4, trying to get a run down the front straightaway on Nick Gunther for 2nd.
Imagine he wins. Everyone in my chat just goes Chase Elliott luck. All the comment sections is just gonna be Chase Elliott luck, boo, Chase Elliott.
Mickey Mouse win. Whoa, thanks for close back there at our next side-by-side battle between Shelton and Young off of turn 2.
That's going to pull Levi McIntyre up, and look at the run he got.
Like the 78 of Henry Sanford,
Whoa.
Despite being off the lead lap, as he just had a moment there. Looks like he is up to speed, still mixing it up with these lead lap cars.
Yeah, but you got to think the lead lap cars behind him are just like, get out of my way.
Yeah, they've got to be frustrated, right?
Especially after
You're
that.
on the lead lap. You don't have a chance right now of getting back into this. Get out of my way. Let me have a shot at this.
But at the same time, the lap down drivers are like, I got to get back up there. I got to get my lap back the hard way.
That's right.
Meanwhile, scrolling back here towards the front. Caution!
Oh!
The 11 and the 77 involved in this one. I thought I saw some smoke on the front straightaway, but I wasn't sure. Caution is out. These drivers are going to race back to the line, and Seth, well, this is going to be interesting in terms of pit strategy. These drivers race.
I talked about those untimely cautions.
Yeah.
Exhibit A, Your Honor.
Don't make a court joke with me right now. All right, well, this is going to bunch up the field and bring them down pit road with, what, about 15 laps left in the stage? Yep. So this is going to be interesting. We're going to stay with these drivers until they've completed their pit stops, and then we're going to go back and look at what happened.
Difference between this segment now and the first segment is
5
this
less
is
laps.
basically well this is also the pit stop that's going to decide where you're going to potentially start for the final segment. Before it was a green flag pit stop that determined it back in segment 1, because these drivers we know now will be able to make it to the end of segment 2 on whatever they put in the tank, provided they get the thing filled up.
Well, this is definitely a quickie style yellow because all cars are able to come down pit road this time.
"15 laps. I think you gotta go with the 4 tires and fuel. You gotta do the works here. There's no strategy that can be played out at this point in time, or else you're gonna find yourself trying to hang on and preserve what you've got for 15 laps, and that's just something that you don't want to do. You want that luxury as a
look
driver.
at that! The 21 just beat out the 9, and the 9's gonna go might move up to second with this pit stop here. And it looks like he will. Gunther gonna be first out of pit road. And then out comes Jessica Shelton and others right behind. So we're going to go ahead now. We're going to take a look and see what happened to bring out the yellow flag here.
Wondering if it might be something similar to what we saw earlier with McCrory and Sanford.
Oh, this one with Matthew Rodriguez, though. The 77 slides. Yeah, look, right there. Slides really sideways off the corner. Anthony, we all know how Matt is. Matt tried to correct it, turns to 77, continues to push her up into Laura Chung, and Laura with a hard hit on the outside.
Nowhere to go. Look at Carson Gum. He gets clipped in the right rear, and he's actually going to get the wall as well, so...
Whoa, and then right in front of the 66.
Carson likes going through the grass.
He really does.
Up break there for Laura Chung. Started on the outside of the front row here tonight.
Right on board with the 77.
Oh, you heard her out of the throttle. Knew she was in trouble. She was trying to lift, give the 66 room. Turn 4 at Charlotte is one of the toughest corners when you are pushing up to try and make sure that you get out of there double wide safely. And
right on board the 11 Laura Chung with her helmet cam here.
Now you heard right there for Laura Chung, no lift. She gunned it because she knew with this D-shaped front straightaway, the 77 was probably going to come back up the track, and she was hoping she'd have it cleared before the 77 made contact with her.
And fortunately, that wasn't the case for her, and she's still on the racetrack, I believe. No one has retired out of this race.
Wow. We've had some pretty good hits here tonight, too. The 31 went straight up into the outside safer barrier. Chung got sandwiched up into the wall. Very surprised that nobody has yet gone back into the garage area. And in all honesty, when you look at some of these hits, you would think that drivers would call it an early night because they're off the pace. I don't really see what kind of strategy and what kind of information they're gleaning for the Charlotte points race. I don't know.
I guess the car still collects data, so...
It collects data, but I mean, what are you collecting data for? If you end up having a damaged race car in the Charlotte points race or something? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the willpower. I have no idea. You know, it's the never quit attitude. Except for me, it's the attitude I don't have.
That's right. I'm not having fun anymore mentality.
No, it's the I hit the wall one time, gonna be out of contention. Well, better quit.
Oh, aero damage, goodbye.
Well, pace lights are out on the pace car, so we will be going back to racing this time to take a look at our top 10 after pit stop. Seth, Nick Gunther, Bernard Oliveira, Nathan Ormond, Jonathan Zorline, Daniel Voiles, Benjamin Miles, Zach Rogers, Anthony McCurry, Ali Rain, and Dylan Potee.
Yeah, I'm keeping my eye on the 10 and the 16. Because if you're looking for good long-run cars, those two have been slowly, steadily picking up spots every single caution we get. Seems like under these green flag runs, they gain anywhere from 3 to 4 spots. So we know we got another guaranteed caution coming up here at the conclusion of lap 80. They pick up another 3 or 4 spots. We're going to see them probably up in the second row on the next restart. So
I would laugh hysterically hard if after you said that we see them both involved in a wreck with each other.
That the commentator's curse has struck many times, and I would not be surprised either.
So let's talk about the change in luck for the 21 of Nick Gunther.
Yeah.
In the race that shall not be named, he didn't even make it to the green flag.
Yeah, he needed tires.
Had some type of tire issue, and now here he is leading this race. Bern Oliveira going to try to clear the 62 for second. Nick Gunther actually running the middle lane here, and we're going to see what happens. We've got 12 laps to go, coming to 11 this time by.
I liked that strategy there, running the middle line. Didn't give either the inside or outside line an advantage to be able to get a run on him. I'm also impressed the fact he was able to get the race lead back because he was a little bit sluggish when the green flag flew for that restart. Bern Oliveira almost had him cleared around the outside going into turn 1.
We have a couple of more cars that are going to be lagging behind, the 77, the 31, and the 11 car.
Yeah, but I think now with this caution coming out when it did, even if we end up running the final segment completely under green, I think fortunately slower traffic will not come into play.
Bernard lost one spot. Wow, you talked about him, Seth, and here he is.
Look at that. My
Second place.
gosh. Fueled by bacon.
Oh, the
Whoa.
19 car went just ducked to the inside
I
there.
think he and Henry Sanford made some contact. I think the 19 almost got turned.
Well, we know these drivers don't or will not have to make a pit stop between now and the end of this segment number 2.
Correct.
We'll see if Gunther can hold off Rogers. These two are well known on the online circuit to have raced good with each other, so we'll see what Offline can do.
Dylan Young in the 2. Outside of Nathan Norman for the 5th position. This is the furthest up to the front we've seen him all night long.
Yeah, but who cares about Dylan?
His 3 fans in Florida. Apparently, Allie Rain doesn't care about Dylan. She nearly sent him into the grass. Oh! Did we just have a spin?
I don't think we did. No.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's getting down to that time. It's getting down to that time. Change for second, Daniel Voiles.
We were racing like this back on lap 5. I don't think we were down to the time then.
I mean, Dylan Young, I don't think appreciated that very much, but he stayed his spot.
Hey, do you think that Wendy's serves Smithfield bacon on their burgers?
No.
No? Okay, well.
I don't see fast food restaurants going to a name brand style bacon.
Yeah, that's probably true. Not unless they got some kind of like promotional thing.
For real. Well, Nick Gunther has led majority of the laps tonight. Still, oh look, they ran the identical lap times.
Wow. The only difference is Ormond is a little bit on the free fall. He's now trying to get 4th back from Bernardo Oliveira.
Well, he's gonna have a whole nother 20 laps to do it.
Yep. I think Nathan Norman started on the outside of his respective row on that last restart, so it takes a little bit of time to get back down to the inside.
Well, I think Rogers did too.
Yes, I think you're right.
Didn't stop him.
But he's falling back though.
Yeah.
After Voiles got around him, now Rogers just looks like he's slow on entry, especially into 1.
Yeah, but if these two start getting racy.
If they get side by side, oh yeah, that group of 5 back there, they'll be caught back up in a couple of laps.
Not that it really matters because there's also a 5 laps going to be another yellow.
But remember, 1 or 2 positions that you gain here in these final 4.5 so laps, that could translate to where you're going to start inside, outside of whichever respective row for the final potential restart of the night.
Here we go.
This is the race of the caution right now, and every position still matters.
That is very true.
Yeah, I'm not surprised Nick Gunther wasn't able to put up much of a fight. Daniel Voiles was so much better from the center of the corner off these last couple of laps. Voiles came on strong second half of last season. I said back then would have been interesting to see if he had made the playoffs, of how far he would have gotten. I think he probably would have been in the Final 4 to compete for the championship.
Voiles took the lead pretty good, is able to still hold off the other drivers here.
Spirited battle for 4th. Dylan Young just completed a pass around 2 drivers. Passed both Nathan Ormond and Bern Oliveira.
See if Zach Rogers can catch up here. Dylan Young still trying, but Nathan Ormond trying to pass him back here. If I was the 23, I'd let Dylan Young take it because that would put me on the inside. And Young might be able to take it. He's gonna clear, I think, the 23.
There'll be a lot of pressure on the pit crews here on the upcoming potential money stop.
Oh, speaking of 80, this is the final lap already.
Yes, it is.
Gotta make sure.
Oh,
wait.
Voiles is under fire from Gunther. How did Gunther get back to his bumper?
Well,
Gunther was falling away.
This is gonna be the end of the stage right here. Caution's gonna come out right now. But it's gonna be Voiles that's gonna win segment number 2. I'm telling you, this is gonna be really good. This final 20 laps is gonna be very, very good.
So far, and this has only been the first 2 segments. Not touch that dial. This is gonna get really exciting really quick, but we still got pit road. The pit crew's now got to go to work to either maintain or gain a couple more spots for their drivers in the it looks like it maybe be about 23-ish laps maybe when we go back green,
give or take. We'll see what happens.
Again, with the way that the caution laps work and everything, some laps may be added on or subtracted from the official length of the respective segments.
This will be a good. I'm trying to find a good angle of pit road.
Again, I don't think anybody's going to play any tricks in terms of strategy. I think it's going to be straight up 4 tires and fuel.
There we go. 21 already out from his stop here. 10's right behind him. 9's right behind them.
Interesting thought I just had here, Michael. If indeed we end up going back green with more than 20 laps,
that's going to be pit strategy.
It means they cannot make it, more than likely. Oh boy.
All right. There we go. That should be set here.
Rodriguez with a modified back there, I noticed.
Yep. Nick Gunther out pit road first over the 62.
21 team's been on it for pit stops. That's the second time he's come to pit road, either second or third, and come off of pit road with the race lead.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to step aside, take a quick commercial break, and be right back with the final segment of the All-Star Race.
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
And we're back here for the final stage of the All-Star Race. Looks like we're going to have about 22 laps to go. And that means that these drivers will not be able to make it to or to the end of the race without having to come to pit road. As we get ready to come back green, your top 10: Nick Gunther, Daniel Voiles, Zach Rogers, Nathan Ormond, Bern Oliveira, Dylan Poteet, Dylan Young, Benjamin Miles. Oops. Green flag is back out, and Nick Gunther did not get going.
Second straight restart where Gunther has not gotten going on that inside line. I don't know if he spun the tires or what. This time, though, he's going to pay for it. He was able to battle back against Oliveira on the last restart, get the lead back, but he's going to drop back to a battle for second. That was perfect for Daniel Voiles.
Well, it was. We'll see if Gunther can get clear of the 23 car and run him back down.
Some drivers in the field that have made some mistakes here tonight. Cautions have saved them, gotten them back into this. Now I don't think you can afford to make a mistake. I don't think you'll have enough time to be able to battle back.
I think the 21 and the 10 did not enter turn 1 right,
Both.
and they slid up the racetrack, and Orman just kind of had nowhere to go. He tried to make a move somewhere, but the hole closed up really fast.
Gonna wear those tires down big time for both of those Fords as well.
Dylan Pote, excuse me, the 41 car slid off the corner there. Excuse me.
They get everything they can right now because they know there's at least one more pit stop they're going to have to make. I don't even think we could speculate the possibility of a driver making it the rest of the way on fuel. I don't think there's any way. I think even if you save fuel, you're still going to find yourself a full lap short.
More than likely. Voiles far out. Voiles got his win this season at Talladega. A miraculous win there. Now here he is leading the All-Star race. Zach Rogers, you talked about him keep being one to watch, has now moved into second place. He is trying to get the momentum, stay in front of the 23, but the 23 is just really strong. Look at him use the outside. Ooh, the 3 car got sideways.
I think he bailed out of the throttle and it got him tight. He was behind the 41 right on his right rear, and I think Thorlin might have gotten moved up the track a bit by Benjamin Miles, and Deaver had to check up and nearly got the wall for his trouble. He's still way up there.
These drivers know it's the final 20 laps. They've got to get going now while their tires are still fresh.
Well, I'm mulling something around in my head here, Michael. I was initially thinking when we went back green, when that pit stop comes up, I want to be one of the first on pit road again, kind of like what we saw earlier with Gunther and Ormond being able to cycle out as the top 2. But the pit stop that we're projecting these drivers are going to have to make is going to be with like 2 or 3 to go. I don't know if you necessarily want to take on tires. With that being said, maybe you don't want to be one of the first ones on pit road this time.
Oh, maybe not. Look who else is coming up into this fray. The other McDonald's car, the 45 of Benjamin Miles. Both of the 23XI cars in the top 5.
They've both been strong tonight. I know that most of the attention has been on Nathan Orman, but Benjamin Miles has been consistently up in the top 10 all night long. I believe he finished 7th in stage 1, and I think he finished 6th or 7th in segment 2. So he's been up here. Both the 2311 cars have been strong here tonight.
It's going to come down between a battle of Wendy's and McDonald's. That's what I feel like is going to happen here tonight.
If only we had a Burger King car in the field.
Or Taco Bell.
We'd have to go back to we'd go back to 2009 or 2010.
Well, one of the last times Tony Stewart won it.
Yeah, that's what
scheme.
I'm thinking. It would have been, I think, probably 2011.
Man, this is going to be interesting if anyone can run down that 62. These 2 in the back keep switching positions like this. Oh, wreck!
Oh, we got a wreck.
Matt McIntyre.
Our Homestead winner.
Spins it around. Doesn't look like he gotten too much damage out of that. But this will change this. Now these cars will come down pit road and be good to go to the end.
My Magic 8 Ball says they can make it on fuel.
Well, we're going to go ahead and take a look and see at what happened.
Wasn't running all that well, so this would have been towards the back of the pack. Ooh. Try clear up on the 9?
He did, yep, right here. It looks like he just thought he was clear to get a good arc, and the 9 car was still there. Probably one of the gray areas for a spotter.
Yep.
So that's going to suck for that 9 car who was having such a good run as well.
Job by Levi McIntyre. He was right behind that and was able to blow up enough to not get involved. Didn't lose too many spots either. Alright, well, you could do fuel only here, but we've got 12 laps to go. I think you still got to take on some more tires. We've seen a lot of drivers, even this late into the race, dealing with grip issues.
Oh, the 10 to 45 seemed to have went with fuel only.
That's interesting.
And so did the 16.
Gotta be honest, I don't know if I like the call.
2 tires for most of these drivers, at least.
The All-Star race, there's no points on the line, so I guess
Well,
gamble now.
there's money.
But there's money on the line.
Go for broke. That's the whole point of this race.
Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo.
It's got Rogers to the lead, so we're going to see what happens. We're going to go ahead and
Clean air might be the deciding factor, maybe, over grip.
fast forward it here a little bit till we get the 1-to-go signal, which I think we have right now. So after these pit stops, we're going to have 10 laps to go on the restart. So we have Zach Rogers, Benjamin Miles, Anthony McCurry, Daniel Voiles, Jonathan Zorline, Levi McIntyre, Nick Gunther, Cole Deaver, Dylan Potey, and Nathan Ormond.
So the timing of this caution with 10 laps to go not only puts us in the window where these drivers can make it the rest of the way on fuel and regulation, but also if we ended up having a few overtime green-white checkers. So pretty much now it's you got what you got. I think that all these drivers made their final trip to pit road outside of maybe if somebody ends up with crash damage between now and the end of the race.
And I said this is going to be interesting. The last couple of restarts, we have noticed the outside lane get a better jump than the inside. We're going to see if it's going to happen again. 10 laps to go in the All-Star race. Green flag is back out, and there it is once again. Benjamin Miles launches and is clear. Now, can he hold off the 62? That's going to be the big question.
I don't know if it's just maybe that wider arc there through that first little 45-degree left-hand turn that gives the outside a better launch. I don't know what it is, but I think if we end up having a late race caution come out, I want to be running second at the time. Rogers battling back, though.
Yeah, that 62 thought he was going to get a good run off the corner, but Rogers with Anthony McCurry in tow. Side by side, and Rogers takes the lead, and now the 62 will put the 45 in the outside lane.
Up the middle, but let's remember the 10, the 45, and the 16 on older tires. The 62 has the fresher tires, restarted fourth. He's putting that grip to good use. He's gone.
He's got to have at least two fresher tires than the rest of the field here, and Daniel Voiles is long gone.
Now it's between Nick Gunther and Levi McIntyre, and what's a battle for fourth? The next driver's up there with the fresher tires, and they're kind of boxed in behind Anthony McCurry right now.
Well, this just goes to show tires mean everything.
We saw that in the lap times earlier on in this race, and the strategy that Gunther and Ormond played out with getting those faster out laps after coming to pit road the earliest. Right there, case in point, 0.3 of a second faster Daniel Voiles over Zach Rogers.
Yep, 29.87 to a 30.13.
Gunther got clear for third. Bern Oliveira's back. The 9 was in that wreck. The 9 was in that last wreck there on the back straightaway into turn 3 with Matt McIntyre, and he's up here in fourth.
Well, about to be third if he gets around the 21.
Wow.
I think they might need a yellow, though. I think they might need a yellow in order to catch that 62.
You don't think they could line up maybe into a two-car tandem or something, reel the 62 in?
No, if they're still stuck behind the 10 at this point. They would have had to have gotten around him by now. Rogers still able to hold his own in second, but for how long?
Just backed up that inside line. Oliveira had to bail out. I saw stacked up that whole inside line through the center of 3 and 4.
I'm going to look at the run.
Oliveira's got him here. 3 wide maybe. Ormond looking inside of Seth Cole, contact.
Oh, there's 4 wide. This could be the caution.
Oh, guys.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, so they're still bouncing off each other.
Wow, the 3.
Just ran.
Oh, there it goes.
Oh, there they go.
And there's the yellow.
Oh,
Oh.
Ellie Rain, Benjamin Miles. They're still piling in Poteet. Tina Bell, Jonathan Zorlin, I see back in that.
And I think this is what the 62 did not want to see.
Nope, not at all.
Caution is out. There will be a green-white checkered.
Remember when I said earlier that with no points on the line, you'd probably make a move you wouldn't necessarily make in a points-paying race? Cole Deaver, I think, just pulled one of those moves.
No, he tried to. It didn't.
He tried.
Quite, he just ran through. Who I'm not sure. I don't remember who that was. We'll see if these cars. We'll see if these cars come down pit road. I
don't think so.
I don't know. We've seen weirder things in NR before, so we'll see what happens.
If you're maybe running 5th, 6th, 7th, maybe you come to pit road. You got nothing to lose, but.
Oh,
Yeah,
but Dylan
no,
Young though, that took out a lot of good drivers.
Yeah, it did.
It was intense. I'm not even gonna lie. It was Ormond. Oh no, yeah, it was Gunther. He just drove straight through Gunther like he wasn't even there, and Gunther was like, "Excuse me."
And then that outside line's just blocked off.
Oh, look at the debris that flew out of the
Wow.
racetrack.
That was, I think, Allie Rain's hood.
No,
And then
I think
Miles' hood ended up a couple 100 feet further up on the
no,
back
that was
straightaway.
that was the back quarter panel
Oh,
of
you're
Nick
right.
Gunther.
Yep. A lot of red sheet metal there, scattered all over the
And
track.
then look at Matthew Rodriguez. All right, so this ought to be good to ride around with here. So let's look on board Seth Cole. Let's see what his perspective of this wreck was. All right, let's look further back here. Let's ride on board Cody Lamas.
Wow. That hit you just heard was Allie Rain piling into it.
Yeah, and let's see, one more on board. Let's ride on board Matt McIntyre.
That got a piece of it there with the right front. William Brock skirted through.
Oh, this is
Well,
gonna
Michael,
bring...
I'd like to say that that's probably all that we'll see in terms of crazy action, but...
We've got green-white checkers.
Yep.
Oh, I don't think Voiles really wanted to see that, because now we're gonna have a restart where
And
he's gonna be on the inside,
line,
and
yeah.
Bernard Oliveira is gonna be on the outside. Seth, we could be witnessing history right now.
We could. You know, we had it as a possibility at the beginning of the night, saying that Oliveira had the previous experience this weekend that the other drivers did not. A lot of different things had to work out in his favor, but here he is, back up here once again.
And now cars out of the race include the 45, the 14, the 2, and the 6.
Pretty impressive. We went over 100 laps in this all-star race before we ended up finally having some DNFs. I know that that doesn't necessarily mean that every driver here didn't have some kind of hardships. We had, about 4 or 5 drivers that were a lap down prior to that caution, but still the fact that the entire field was still running up until that point.
Here we go. Green flag back out, and Bernard Oliveira with a good restart, and here comes Jessica Shelton right behind him. Man, if Shelton were to get a good clear... Oh, what happened here? There's a big... Oh, they're stuck behind the
Yeah, it's
21.
21 of Gunther, who's got that damage.
Jessica Shelton could come back and win this race. I think she has some fresh tires, too.
Jessica Shelton trying to go coast to coast. Started on the pole position, kind of faded back after had the lead wrestled away from her by
Oh, a
Christina
couple
Bell.
cars coming to pit road. The 48, the 17, the 10.
Did they not get their cars full completely of fuel?
Maybe they didn't. Well, the 20's going to have one more run at the 9 car. And it's got to happen here. The 9 car's got to have some type of slip up.
Shelton showing the nose.
And it's not going to matter. Bernard Oliveira, winner of the All-Star Open, he's going to go coast to coast in a way and win the All-Star race.
Wow. That is impressive. From the back to the front.
That is incredible in the span of 100 laps, give or take.
Bernard Oliveira is having, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, he's having a horrible season. This could be the turning point for that 9 team.
Gunther on pit road here. A couple of these cars still coming off of pit road. The race is over. It's all types of chaos cars just trying to finish the race, honestly, at this point.
Remember what you said back during the All-Star Open? We had a number of drivers in the field, but the only thing that mattered was the winner.
Yep.
Same mentality here for the All-Star race, and I think Oliveira carried that same mentality over here.
You know what? You also got to think, too, when they came down pit road to top off, they probably only topped off just to get it.
Just for regulation.
Just for regulation.
Yep, I'll bet you're right.
So Bernard Oliveira wins the All-Star race. Jessica Shelton is second. Nathan Orman third. Daniel Voiles fourth. Those are three of strong cars finishes in the top 4. Jessica Shelton's where did she come from, even though she was on the pole? But that was only because of random draw. Seth Cole finishes 5th. He was involved in getting put up in the wall there. Nick Gunther rallies back to 6th.
Yeah, that damaged car held him off.
Yep. Cody Lamas 7th. Matt McIntyre 8th. Matthew Rodriguez.
How did that thing should have been running the Bandolero short check on the front straightaway for the rest of the race. How did that late model finish in the top 10?
I have no idea. Levi McIntyre 10th. William Brock 11th. Anthony McCurry, Zach Rogers 12th, 13th. Cole Deaver 14th. Jonathan Zorline 15th. Carson Gum 16th. Laura Chung 17th. Christina Bell 18th. Roberto Crown Jr. 19th. Henry Sanford rounds out the field in 20th, and then the 4 cars that retired with Poteet, Young, Alley, and Benjamin Miles. Well, that was insane.
that was, yeah, I mean, man, I knew that coming into this race, since there were no points on the line, that this was going to be a hectic race, a lot of different varying strategies, aggressive racing, but I'll tell you what, it'll be interesting to see if we see the same type of thing when these drivers have points on the line here at Charlotte, or if they dial it back a little bit, because tonight was definitely exciting.
Yeah, absolutely it was. You know, this was 100, I guess you could say 109 laps, because, I mean, the caution laps, I tried not to let caution laps count between stages, but, you know, things happened, and it's weird. But, so, if you think about it, I guess 109 laps complete for the All-Star race, so it was pretty interesting. So these cars gonna take a trip back to the shop, come back next week, same racetrack, and go for 600 miles, or however long I decide to make the race.
600 laps.
No, please. I don't have the attention span for that. I barely had the attention span for this. I'm glad we had commercial breaks, otherwise I'd probably be, I don't know. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to rookie Bernard Oliveira, the one of only 3 rookies in this race. Man, I can't tell you the last time a rookie won an All-Star race, even in real-life NASCAR. I think we had to go all the way back to Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the year 2000. No, Ryan Newman in the year 2002. Well,
before my time.
No, that was way after your time.
You're not supposed to say that on live TV.
Huh.
That was in my contract. We don't talk about my age.
What contract? You never even signed one.
Oh, that's right. I must have forgotten because of my age.
Anyways, we'll see you guys next time for the Coca-Cola 600, the Memorial Day race, even though it's not actually Memorial Day in real life. But who cares? We'll see you next time. Until we meet again.